Greetings to the video. I'm here with Phil Burt because the Tour de France is starting and Phil has worked on 7 Tour de France. He's worked with Bradley Wiggins, Froome, Geraint Thomas, Mark Cavendish. He's going to get it this year, fingers crossed. And so Phil's going to share with us today some things not to copy, mistakes that we shouldn't do, and things that we can actually benefit and learn from the pros. So, are you ready?
Yep.
Let's go.
One of the biggest ones I see is people come in here with neck or back pain and they're slammed at their position like Mark Cavendish with a negative stem about as low as you can possibly go for an aero position to do the 100-mile ride that they're just trying to get around, right? You do not need to be the most aero person in the world for a lot of things that ordinary cyclists are trying to achieve, right? And the very aero positions come at a huge cost to us physically. It's their job. Mark Cavendish has to have an aero position. That's his job and that's where he wins. It's not your job quite often, so don't obsess about being in the most aero position, right? The second thing I wouldn't do would be obsess about the weight of your bike. Buying everything as light as possible. For example, the weight saving of a Dura set over an Ultegra, minimal compared to maybe what I can do by eating 1 less McDonald's a week on myself. So I'm not saying that, you know, if you want to buy that stuff, fine, but the weight of the bike relative to us normal guys, normally the low-hanging fruit is to reduce your weight first of all until that's where the point it can be, all right? Related to that is you do not have to look like a Tour de France cyclist. If you've been at the beginning of the Tour de France, it looks like a bunch of aliens. Very big heads, incredibly lean bodies. Not many people know this, but Tour de France cyclists is lighter when they start the Tour de France when they finish. That's because they have to fuel that much during it. They actually put on weight, but they start as light as they can for obvious reasons of going uphill makes a big difference. The thing about this is don't obsess about yourself. Being that light comes with consequences. Those people are supported by nutrition teams, medical teams, everything you can imagine. When you get too light for yourself, you're very vulnerable to illness and injury, and we don't want that to happen. So don't try and copy that, you know. And the last one, it might surprise you, but I'm actually going to say don't do what one Grand Tour rider I used to look after did once, which is change everything to new stuff the day before you go and do your big event, be it the Etap, whatever.
Can you say what the big event was?
Go on, no I can't. Do not change everything. So it's the classic thing that people do, say before a marathon, they save their brand new shoes and insoles for the event, and then they run and they get blisters and they don't finish, or they end in excruciating pain. I once looked after somebody who changed their shoes, pedals and insoles and had to give up in a major race because they had raging knee pain. Don't save your best stuff for the big event. Bed it in. My general rule is shouldn't be changing anything before 3 weeks before a big event that you've trained for all year. So 3 weeks is the bare minimum, you know.
So obviously you worked on 7 Tour de France wins. Mm-hmm. Okay, what things can we learn from the pros? What things can we take away?
Yep. So one of my mantras is I think the most important thing about recovery is sleep. And so my thing that I would do is I was challenged by Dave Brailsford with a larger team. What could you make? What are you going to do to help win the Tour de France? And we came up with the fact that I found myself treating pro cyclists' backs and necks quite often, because you don't know if you go, you know, you spend a night in a less than ideal hotel bed and you wake up and go, oh, it's not my bed, I'm making it everywhere like this. So you're not injured, but you're not optimal and you've got aches and pains and niggles. In the Tour de France, they changed bed 19 times in 21 days, and you're trying to win the hardest bike race in the race or trying to get around it. So what we did was the bed in the bag, which was individual riders' mattresses were put onto the beds in the hotel, so they slept on the same environment every night. It's obvious it makes a difference. You're going to sleep, you know what you're ending up on. Now, we can't do that, but what I would strongly, and I do advise this to people who come and see me, is I would spend all my spare cash on the thing I sleep on. You spend more time on your mattress or your bed, or both, per day than anything else. It is your recovery tool. Spend the most money you can on it. Every night you sleep on it, it goes down in unit cost. So I personally think it's so important. You spend money and time and effort, all these other things, the right nutrition, right that, and then you go and sleep on a rubbish mattress. What's the point?
You said before, like, people spend 10 grand on a bike,
yeah,
and then have got like a really cheap trendy mattress.
Yeah.
Like, no,
yeah,
you'll be better on the bike if you just had a better mattress.
Exactly. I think because you will recover better from what you're doing, you're supporting yourself. It's 8 hours of physio being in the right place in recovery. The second one is Eat before you become hungry on the bike. People get fueling wrong all the time. Even pros get it wrong. We had to use the device fans where they were told what to do and it's written down on the top tube when to take it. And everything like, it's so important. But I would only advise, most of the people I find who ever fail or bonk or can't finish an event, they'll wait until they're hungry. If you're hungry, you're already lacking in fueling, right, for big events. So try and keep to a plan, get some advice on it if you want to, but generally just eat before you think you should be eating and you'll probably stay ahead of that. That relates to hydration as well. You can't really drink too much. So I would say always drink more than you think you should do, and then you'll stay on the right side of becoming dehydrated, Cool down! Nobody wants to cool down. But let's take an example of the Tour de France dues. Before we started with Team Sky, I never saw anybody warming down on a turbo trainer, quite rightly, and I would get off, Canaco on the bus. All right? It's knackering. Now, you start at the end of Tour de France, most of the stages, people are sensibly warming down for 10-15 minutes on turbo, taking them down from this level to this level and helping them bring them down. We can't all have turbos at the end of our event and race it. But if you just do something, I think something, pootle around for 10 minutes, take yourself down, just give yourself, your body, your heart, your muscles, everything, a chance to come from here to down here. If you can do it, it's in human nature to think very, very hard things and just collapse. But if you can cool down, same as warming up, all the evidence of science is there to say that you will be better the next day, especially if you've got a multi-day event. So those sorts of things are worth time investing in. Those are my don'ts and do's of the Tour de France.
What was it like to be part of a team that won 7 Tour de France?
Well, I was part of the team, and we don't ride the bikes and win it and everything. Just amazing. I think the big thing for me, I always say about my journey in sport and time, I've been incredibly lucky, being in the right place at the right time. You think where cycling came from Beijing, that success there meant that we could create a road team. No British man had ever won the Tour de France before, and for 100 years. And then you think about it, Team Sky have won 7 since then, 6 of those with British guys. It's just an amazing time, and it's moved on now somewhere else again. So, and someone else will be dominant. But to achieve that, I was just like incredibly, And I would say it relates to many happy places in people's times and careers. I was just on this bus with all the right people on the right seats on the bus doing incredible work. And if you have that, it's incredibly powerful, because if everyone's pulling in the right direction, and we had one goal, right, we want to win this because it's never been done before. I think the problem they have right now is that they've done it so often, it's hard to maybe motivate yourself to do that, because it's been done before, and every time you do it, people go, oh, right, that's it. But it's never been done, and it was like, you cannot believe the work, the enthusiasm, and the passion we had in trying to achieve that goal.
So good.
I know.
Love it. Right, thank you so much, Phil. If you've got any questions for Phil, do another. Oh no, I'll come in front. If you've got any questions, sorry, you went to the front. If you've got any questions for Phil, leave them in the comments. We'll always be doing bike fit videos. So, oh look, imagine if you were that tall in real life. Stand up straight. Right, see you on next video.
That's why I'm no good at cycling.